Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Ghana is a beautiful country. Welcome to Breakfast Daily. Good morning to you wherever you are, whether you're in Accra, anywhere in Ghana, anywhere in Africa or the rest of the world, you're welcome. This is Breakfast Daily, and my name is David Kweku Sechi.
And I am Jifa Ekria Amatam. Thank you so much for staying with us. We have a packed show for you today. You know, we just crossed the 10,000 mark coronavirus in the country. Our students are going back to school, final year students, so we'll be finding out exactly how teachers will be adjusting, and of course, we're also going to find a look at the season finale.
Yes.
Agriculture challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. They're living fields challenge. It's going to be interesting. It's been going on for a few weeks now, and we're going to have them in studio to discuss with us where they are right now and how it's been so far. It's going to be exciting.
And then
exciting
much later, we're going to learn how to change our weaves. So those of you who are big fans of weaves and everything else, so you don't want to miss all the exciting conversations we'll be having. But it is an interactive show. Yeah. So wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you.
Yes, and we have a WhatsApp line as well as 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, kindly prefix that with +233.
Now, every morning we start the show off with our quote of the day. So we'll take a look at our quote of the day.
So the quote for today is coming from Sir Winston Churchill, who was the Prime Minister of the UK. He says, "Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense." Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. And that's a very fantastic quote that we should always remember, that our convictions should guide us. Our convictions should lead us. Our convictions should guide us.
Yes, and speaking of conviction, I mean, all month long we've been talking about how to grow our businesses, especially in the midst of coronavirus. We know that some businesses had to scale down, some people had to be fired, but a lot of businesses are now thinking of ways to be a bit more innovative to take advantage of the opportunities that coronavirus has presented. And we're doing things a little differently this year. We're not meeting you guys off air, but we're doing it, virtually. And it gives an opportunity for our viewers abroad to also join into the conversation. The first week we had Reboot.
Reboot was exciting.
Focused on, people who are looking at new ways to do things differently. This week we had e-commerce engaging your customers, and then
next week we have the Agri Business Forum. And that for me is such a fantastic way to go about looking at business, where you're doing your own business, but you then have a second stream of income. And the value chain, of course, in the agribusiness world is just massive. So there's so many places you can plug in and benefit from. So I think it's a fantastic thing that we're going to do. And of course, they will talk about trade and exports and whether it's going to be the same as it has been so far. So it's a very, very packed month. And of course, whilst we are doing this on air, on TV, we also have on radio. Every day there is some activity going on with people coming into the studio at 9 a.m. every morning to give you fantastic tips and tricks and tips, as to how to do business this month.
Definitely. And if you want to join in the conversation, you definitely want to register by calling 0205-973-973 or call the number 0558-973-973 to join us via Zoom. Now, if you're experiencing struggles in your community, if your roads are bad, things are just not going the way that they should be going, and you want to draw authorities' attention to it, then Hello, Mr. President is a unique opportunity for you to speak directly to the president. Send us a 60-second video of yourself showing us what's going on within your community, or a 250-word text explaining the difficulties you're experiencing in your community. And the email to send that to is hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. You can also WhatsApp it to us at 0550-585832.
Yeah, so what we just mentioned earlier on. Right now, we've hit the 10,000 mark with the coronavirus situation in Ghana. It's of course the website there, citynewsroom.com/coronavirus. We have 10,358. That's the total count so far. Of course, the recoveries are at 3,824, with 48 people unfortunately passing on. So our active cases are at 6,486. So this is the situation that we find ourselves in. Of course, the case count per region, we have Accra at 6,648. We have Ashanti region at 1,799. We have Western at 778. Central region at 539. Eastern region at 192. Volta region at 162. Western North at 74. Uti at 47, Upper East region at 42, Northern at 37, Upper West at 22, Bono East at 13, Northeast at 2, Savannah 1, Bono 1, Ahafo 1. And so now all our regions have a case, at least a case.
And when you hear that we've gone over 10,000, initially you want to panic, especially since we set in place so many measures in the early days to ensure that we don't spread the virus. A couple of weeks ago, we found out that churches and other religious bodies can now go and express their religion, and now schools are going to be reopening. So final year JHS, SHS, and university students will be going back to school starting on the 15th. So it's really important. I mean, we heard from the education minister yesterday about a task force that has been formed to ensure the safe reopening of schools. And a lot of us are wondering exactly what will be going on with the private schools. How are they ensuring that our kids will be safe? How are the teachers themselves ensuring that they will be safe? And so we have a private school teacher with us who's going to share his experience.
Yeah, so Maxwell Bentum is here with us, and is going to help us to understand what's been going on with them in the private school scene. Good morning, Maxwell. How are you?
Good morning.
How's everything?
By God's grace.
Okay, so what's happening? How are you guys handling the whole pandemic that's going on?
It has not been easy for us, but we are still trusting God that this deadly disease will get out of us so that we can go back to school.
Now, tell us a bit about yourself before we even get into the coronavirus. How long have you been teaching? What was the experience like before this whole COVID thing happened?
Oh, okay. As you rightly said, Bentum Maxwell is my name. I started teaching way back 2006.
Wow.
And I'm now with Care Guide Montessori School at Bawe.
Okay.
So that place, I think the place is cool, unlike my colleagues in other schools that have not been paid. Yes, although we are not getting full, but it's manageable.
Now, how was the class size like before the coronavirus? I mean, the day you guys even heard that schools were going to close, how did you feel?
We felt very bad because we were preparing to go to school on Monday when President gave a directive that we can no longer go. So in this case, we didn't get it easy. Yes, because some of us, we've contracted loans and all that, anticipating that we can, at the end of the day, pay. But in this case, how are you going to get the money to pay? So life is not easy at all.
So you're saying that some of your colleagues in other schools are not receiving payments?
Anything
monthly
at all.
payments
They are
anymore?
not getting anything.
Wow.
Yes.
This is a private school.
Yes, private schools. Unlike our colleagues in the government schools that they know at the end of the month they will be getting their money. But most of our colleagues, they're not getting anything. Yes. Yesterday I was with one of my friends and he told me that right from March, today's date is what?
11th of June.
He hasn't gotten anything.
Wow.
So such a person, how is he going to cope?
Now, how was the whole experience, or did you have to teach online to reach some of your students? How was that like for you? And before you answer, to our viewers watching us on Facebook, if you have any questions for him or you want to share how you're prepping your final year, GHS, SHS, and you yourself, your university, going back to school, how is that like for you? Just share your thoughts with us via the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If outside Ghana, use the country code +233.
Okay.
How was the going online process?
Yes,
like
we
for you?
started online teaching.
Okay.
So we got to a point that, we have to give them work, teach, and at the end of the day, they will submit it for marking and all that, just to complete what we planned for the academic the term.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was what we were doing before we finally, stopped. So now we are not doing anything.
Okay, so in terms of preparation, okay, so now the final years are going back to school. How are you preparing the students for what it is that they're going to be facing in terms of the final exams and all those things? How are you? Because we don't know if the schools will be open fully anytime soon, but at least the president has permitted that some kind of opening should happen. Okay, what's the plan? What's the general thinking among the private schools?
Yes, as President said, that on 29th of this month we should go back to classroom. Now the issue here is that what are some of the measures have they put in place for us to go back to school? Because anytime government speaks, he speaks in favor of the public schools, not the private schools. So with the private schools, we don't have the capacity in terms of testing, doing this and doing that. How many private schools can do this for their teachers? So it's not easy. Now teaching a candidate class is hazardous. Yes, because you don't know, at the end of the day, they don't have any stimulus insurance package for you. So when you go and something happens to you, you are not going to get anything. And even if they are saying that we should go back to school, those of us in the private sector, even most of our colleagues, are not going to get even TNT to go back to school. So I think they have to start from somewhere before they should just instruct us to go back to school. They should put some measures in place that if you go and something bad happens to you, these are what are some of the things that we have for you. But in this case, nothing.
But the private school teachers were calling for government to allow students to go back to school, no? So you should ideally be happy.
Yes, but we can only be happy when there are some incentives in place to cushion you. Because as I said earlier on, most of my colleagues, they have not been paid right from March. So such a person going back to school, I don't think it will be possible.
But if students are coming back to school, I'm assuming that they'll be paying their school fees. So the schools themselves should be making some monies now to be able to pay you. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You know, they take school fees before they can pay. Even most of the parents are still owing last term's fees. So in this case, how are they going to pay this term's own? Because most of the parents too, they have been affected. I mean,
so they won't say we're going to pay for all those months that our children did not come to school.
I don't think so.
No, but then okay. So when you're running the online virtual classes and everything else, that's still a teacher engaging students.
Yes.
So you didn't collect any monies during that period from parents?
Some parents paid. Others too are still owing, because most of the parents do pay when it is getting to the examination, because they know that if I don't go and pay my world school fees, at the end of the day, the person is not going to allow him or her to write.
Okay.
So here is the case we are doing online. So with online, we can, see how negatively it's going to impact on the schools. Yes.
Well, now with just final year students coming back, that means some of your colleagues will still be unemployed.
Yes.
Have they shared their frustrations with you?
Yes. One guy has even gone back to village.
Wow.
Yes, just because he has nothing to, to depend on over here. Because at the end of the day, when the month ends, the person is not getting anything. So in this case, how is he going to survive? So the person has gone back to village. So for him to come back, I think the proprietor or the proprietress needs to do something for him or her to come back to classroom. So with the private school teachers, in fact, we are not getting it easy at all. It's not easy.
So you mentioned that the government should put things in place before, you going back would be comfortable or easy for you to go back. What are specifically some of the things? Is it in the form of direct payments? Is it in the form of insurance packages? What are you looking at? What's the general thinking among the private teachers, at least your colleagues, your colleagues? What's the general thinking? What are you hoping for from government?
You see, one thing here is that we, the private school teachers, we are not like more or less those in the government sector where you can get NAGRA to come and speak for them. We don't have any association like that. I hope you are getting me. Because when we are also having an association like NAGRAT, then we that you are asking. So if you don't provide it, then in this case you are not going to school. But we don't have such a body in place. So getting our concern known to them, I think it is difficult. Yes, it's difficult.
But what are the specific challenges that you would need help with? Is it, PPE? Is it, Veronica buckets and water? Are you guys asking for yourselves and the students to be tested before you go back to school? What are the specific things you would like government to help the private schools with?
Yes, thank you. With this, I think the government can also provide this PPEs to help the private sector.
Okay.
Because the children over there, they're also Ghanaian children. So if you are doing something for the government or the public schools, I think those in the private sector too, I think government can also do the same thing for them to also stay safe.
Okay.
Yes. So aside putting in place the PPEs, government can also help with the stimulus package.
Okay.
Yes, as he has done it for those in the health sector. He can do the same thing for the teachers also, because if you go out there and something happens to you, at the end of the day, who is coming to cater for you.
But teachers are not necessarily frontline workers, are you?
But in this case, they are also putting us into this situation.
But if that were the case, then pastors and imams should also ask for a stimulus package, don't you think so? Because churches have opened, people are going to church.
Yes, you see, their case is different from ours.
How so?
Because if you look at the private schools, okay, now somebody will say, although it is for individuals, okay, but government can also come in, like looking at those in the private sector. I think some of the hospitals, they have incentives for their doctors and nurses.
Especially the frontliners. Yes.
Good. That is the same thing that we want our proprietors and proprietaries to do the same.
Okay.
So in case when you go out there, you don't know what will happen. Because me, for instance, going to work, I need to take about 3 cars before I can get there.
Wow.
So you don't know
what will happen.
So in this case, if I know I have something in place that in case if I contract this COVID-19, I know my family is going to be what?
Exposed to
yes.
danger.
So I think they need to put in some measures to cater for all this.
Do you think you guys should get some sort of bonuses for exposing yourself at least to help with, your finances?
Sure.
How much would be enough for you in terms of percentage of salary or something?
I don't get.
Okay, so if you say bonuses, what would you say? Okay, this would work for us.
Okay, as I said.
Or anything they give you will be okay.
Not at all.
Okay, so
let's say they can sign us on some insurance
scheme
policy that you are on this policy. So if something happens to you, your sum assured is this or that. That is what you are asking for.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily direct cash per se, but some kind of assurance that
yes,
you have a buffer, you have something to protect you.
Good.
That's what you're asking
Good.
for. Okay.
Would you feel safer if perhaps government came in to test all the students and test all the teachers before you go back to school, so you at least know that we are all negative in this classroom?
Sure, because doing that will help you to know your status. And not even once. We going to school and even after closing, because you going back home, you don't know your situation because you are, mingling with the school children and you don't know. So I think we going back to school and also closing, we need to be tested every day, not just once.
What are some of your fears? Because if I'm thinking of a final year GHS student in maybe your class or your colleague's class, the child starts, showing some symptoms or they are sick and they need help. I don't think you as a teacher will say, I don't have PPE, so I won't go in and help that child. Are those some things that worry you?
Yes, because I think the schools can liaise with the community health centers that in case we see something like this, we will call upon you to come and assist. But we didn't hear anything like that. Just he has given a directive 29th you are going to school. What are some of the measures? Are they teaming up with the community health centers to be testing the kids every day? So I think government needs to do something about this one.
It's very interesting that you suggest that it should be tested every day, because ideally that should actually be what should happen. Because if you are tested today and you're negative, it doesn't mean tomorrow you'll not be positive.
Sure.
So I understand that. But here's a case where testing itself is expensive. And then we are also not doing mass testing yet in Ghana or rapid testing in Ghana because we simply can't go that direction. So we are doing testing people based on contact tracing and then based on you appearing in the hospital and showing symptoms, So I don't know.
I think Obuasi is the only exception to that because they did some mass testing in Obuasi some time back.
I think that yeah. So what they've done basically is to look at hotspots and then test those people in the hotspots. But really, there's no general mass testing across the country. So I don't know how practical this is going to be. If you look at all private schools and say we're going to test every student every day,
Mine has to do with the thermometer.
Yeah.
Even most of how many private schools can get this thermometer to be testing the kids.
Yeah.
So at least there should be some sort of provisions in place.
The barest minimum.
Yes.
To have a thermometer.
To know your temperature.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you are not going to, test them, what of their temperature too?
Yeah.
So I think
we can start from
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Maxwell Benton, for being with us, and we hope that you will stay safe and that you'll be fine. I'm sure government is listening, and we're going to figure out what to do for the private school teachers. And thank you at home for joining us for Breakfast Daily. We received some of your messages, but we don't have enough time. Maybe I'll try and read it during the news review. But don't go anywhere. My name is Jifa Ike Ametam.
And I'm David Kwekusichi.
We'll be right back.
COVID-19, caused by the coronavirus, is a potentially deadly disease that has killed thousands of people worldwide. Unfortunately, it's here with us in Ghana. But do not panic, we can beat this. The disease moves when you move, and it stops when you stop. Please stay at home unless it is an emergency.
Apomodinfo adwumayefo ye boye homodin dia se ye betu yare yase nanso yehia momoa ye besre senche ye nansan na ofri amanone abaye man mu ha ana so ye obi a oni obi ofri amanone edi nsawoso nansan ana so se ebi a na yare COVID-19 wa ben obi a wanya bia ye besre se tenafie fri apomodin adwumayefo na ye beba abehwe
noni wokoji nye kashi agbe noni yominji ka le noni bodenche o fambekeba alo le mukoni jegbe fami keba alo ke mukoni na hilane enye noni wokoji tashia kono numbers ne ni your screen ne shi
wannan annoba da ta same mu tabbacece ne likitoci masu kwararrun da kula da wannan ciwo muna kokari mu kawo da wannan ciwo amma kowa yi kokari yayi nasa don Allah saboda annabi muna rikoko kowa ya saura jida
COVID-19 dolala sesi onya na atala marabo yo pepa longa atanku dolala alona kwashi kokata pe dolala garo ena kokamuwa ye na taku dolala eta ko le vevien bana cloche na ko achi pla azanla na ko cloche adaba koklo blava na achi pla azanla malio na za achi ko na ba sanitizer na ko li la shinwe adaba koklo blava na wa dolala vivio katan la shinno pala mianchi na miana na dolala no maga kakao pala mianchi na mia kwalanchu
mabehe coronavirus durungoma ni muhaye to anyele jimiya suru dibe bana yina sambanni biya ku kaban shanan da sambanni nyin palmayima palmaju
Coronavirus mayala already mini don yule motimije keke case mom ye jimawo hospital amla kabele nyale mu ake olke wa fenodie edan kuma ye jimawo hospital ele ya fenodie mo ewure ni onge ho onzi me ba ya leke edi sonu awosa wosa me finde se ne de bibie ya oda yo ba bua ma ewure ni ya kwasi
banye fai hela na ne bane ke o to no wolo alo chinie sani o hie tissue koni o chine ewomi to mo benin fi one o ke ba chi ogugon ke una abuna ke ogbena ke tissue we che o fon o wo bola ni e ke oye ke ko no ba nye o fo de ke nuwe ke samla fo o de fenfel alo ke beje me ke samla o ba no ke sanitizer atumo o de fenfel won panye fai ke obenu ko fe mo ya agbo na ka jeku hinshia
wannan ciwon da ake cire corona
kowa ya isa. In kana gida kana da fever ko zafin jiki ko makoshinka na maka ciwo ko yana maka kaikai ko kana tware ko dai ka san wani da mai shi ya fito ture zo ka je ka gaishe shi ko ke da kanka ture ka fito in kana da irin wanga ya kuri in ka fara jin makocinka ko kana da fever ka cire wanga number ganda muke gwada muku yanzu aka kar ka ji tsoro ka zama gida an zo a duba ka mu daina zuwa wurin taro don wurin taro da irin gaisuwa kan nan da damu wannan ke kawo wannan ciwo.
We need personal protective equipment, just as I'm dressed, to help protect frontline staff. We are appealing to corporate organizations, traditional rulers, religious organizations, and individuals to come to our aid.
Let us remember to keep safety foremost on our minds. It's important to make sure that we are careful with flammable substances, including hand sanitizers. Let's also be careful with our use of gas and other sources of heat that can cause burns. The home environment should be safe for children so that they do not get injured unnecessarily. Please be safe and keep the hospital free for other sick people. Do remember to pray for us as we work on your behalf. Let's win this fight together. Thank you.
This is a GIPC initiative in partnership with the Ghana Medical Association, National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burn Center, and the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines and then some online stories. Then we'll introduce our guests who are already seated here with us. Our first paper is the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we are committed to peace but won't accept flawed elections. That's coming from former President John Dramani Mahama, and that story is on page 3. 24 health workers test positive for COVID-19 in Mfanteman. That story is on page 16. Tertiary institutions get ready to reopen. The disinfection exercise begins. That's on the back page. We'll now take a look at the Ghanaian Times. Universities Zoom Lion launched nationwide disinfection exercise in Accra. That story is on page 11. Ghana loses 100 million Ghana City port revenue. That is coming from the Minority, and that story is on page 20. Railway Ministry averts disaster at Abufu. Moves to safeguard Accra and Sawam Railway from erosion. That story is on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. We'll now take a look at the Chronicle. National security should act more professionally. That's coming from James Agalga. NPP given 48 hours ultimatum over disqualified candidates. Stories on pages 2 and 3 of the Chronicle. We'll now take a look at the new Crusading Guide. I will reject 2020 elections results if, that's coming from former President Mahama, and that story is on pages 3 and 10. Foreign Minister celebrates UN as it marks 75th anniversary. We'll now take a look at our final newspaper, the Business Finder. On the front page of the Business Finder, we have ADB disburses 23.2 million Ghana cedis to 6 poultry value chain players in Bono region. This is great news because there's so much potential in our poultry sector that we've not tapped into. Malcolm donates 20,000 boxes of bar soap to 5 health facilities. That story is on page 8. We'll now take a look at some online stories, starting with citynewsroom.com. NDC's move to frustrate electoral process must be condemned by all. That's coming from Sami Ewuku. We don't have enough health workers to manage COVID-19 cases. It's coming from Dr. Nsia Sare. Black Lives Matter vigil. Ernesto Yeboah charged faces court today. Growing community spread of COVID-19 must be curbed. That's coming from an analyst. Ghana's COVID-19 case count now 10,358, with recoveries at 3,824. We'll now take a look at some city business news, some business news from citybusinessnews.com. Over 170,000 businesses apply for the 1 billion Ghana cedi stimulus package for SMEs. That's coming from the NBSSI. ADB Bank releases 23.1 million Ghana cedis to support poultry farmers in Bono region. Car dealers to demonstrate in 2 weeks over ban on some second-hand cars. Unipass challenges alarming. Restore previous system for now. Gift to GRA. Reduce imports push inflation for locally produced goods to 14.1%. That is great news. We'll now take a look at some more local news from myjoyonline.com. 157 new cases bring Ghana's COVID-19 tally to 10,358. We'll now take a look at some global news from bbcnews.com. Africa Live, tortured Zimbabwe politicians charged. For more news, visit citynewsroom.com, and for more business news, you can go on to citybusinessnews.com. Now is an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. I have been joined by Honorable Abdul Aziz Mohammed. He's the MP for Mion. We haven't seen him in a while. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm blessed and good to see you again.
Good to see you too. What have you been up to?
Much of constituency work and parliament.
Okay. We also have Stephen Amwa, who's the CEO of Maslock, with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
By the grace of God, I'm doing well.
How's the coronavirus season treating you?
Of course, adverse. No one is happy, businesses, Maslock, we can't do our recovery as we used to. Our lives are restricted. I beg, no one should go to jail, because when we're quarantined, being at home for 24 hours a week, I pray that nobody goes to jail.
How did you cope with that?
It was difficult, but I think some of us, it also gave us rest, because we're not rested. But sometimes, like, it gives you psychological, whatever,
Well, I'm glad you're well. Take a look at our first story. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com, and it says, Ghana's COVID-19 case count now 10,358, recoveries at 3,824. Ghana's COVID-19 case count has risen to 10,358 following the confirmation of 157 new cases. This was confirmed in the Ghana Health Services update on Thursday, June 11, 2020. 69 more people have also recovered from the disease, increasing the tally for recoveries to 3,824. 14 people are currently in critical condition, while 10 are in severe condition. Ghana has so far done a total of 240,204 tests since March 2020. I'm going to go through the regional breakdown briefly. In the Greater Accra region, we have 6,642 people who have tested positive. In the Ashanti region, 1,799. Western region, 778. Central region, 539. Eastern region, 198, Volta region 162, Western North region 74, OT region 47, Upper East region 42, Northern region 37, Upper West region 22, Bono region 13, Northeast region 2, Savannah region 1, Bono region 1, Ahafo region 1. So that is the current state of coronavirus in the country. There were times when, you know, you mentioned coronavirus in Ghana and people are thinking of just Accra and maybe Kumasi. And now every single region has recorded at least one case. Honorable Abdulaziz, what do you make of these numbers, and especially the regional representations?
Good morning to you, good morning to my colleague here, and good morning to our viewers. It's a very worrying trend that currently, as we speak, we have recorded over 10,000 cases. In the last 1 week, the numbers have shot up, and it is worrying. Interestingly, we haven't changed the way we deal with the pandemic. I have even observed that we have relaxed the observance of the protocols, the issue of washing our hands under running water and using hand sanitizers. I can see some form of lukewarm attitude towards that as compared to the early days of the pandemic. But I think that as a country, we need to have a blueprint as to dealing with the COVID-19. I cannot see any well-documented action plan. We seem to be dealing with the COVID-19 with some knee-jerk reaction. And we are not consistent in what we do. I think that the Ministry of Health, together with their partners in the fight against the COVID, should have a blueprint, a document that would inform us how to deal with what we call the new normal. Some of us were of the opinion that there was no need to ease the restrictions. Even when the President of the Republic, somewhere last 2 months or so, lifted the lockdown, there were some few concerns whether it was appropriate. But you see, I think government was trying to walk a fine balance between lives and livelihood. And like the President said, we should be interested in protecting lives than livelihoods. For livelihoods, we can always restore it. For lives, we cannot. But I think that we need to have a blueprint. Some had raised questions, like I said, about the lifting of the lockdown. The easing of the restrictions has also come with some questions. I don't know what would happen if our final year students get back to school for tertiary institutions and senior high and junior high. You know, we are being told that somewhere on the 15th or so, they would get back to school to prepare for their exams. I don't know what that would mean, but I fear that it could contribute to the increase in cases that we are going to record. I think today, for the last 1 week, from the 1st of this month up to date, the daily count that we record ranges from 150 to 200, and that's alarming. In fact, we have been told that they have dealt with the backlog, and so they don't deal with the huge numbers that they used to do, and yet the number of infections are increasing. That is very worrying. I think that we should have a blueprint as to dealing with it. We are looking at schools coming back. Churches have been asked to open, and when you say churches can run with a maximum number of 100 or the mosque, who is there to count the last 100 person? That becomes a question. Are they going to be able to observe the protocol that we have prescribed? I mean, these are questions that I think that we should be worried about.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, the positive cases are at 10,358. Wow. We know that majority of them are going to go on to recover from what we've experienced so far. Unfortunately, 14 people are currently in critical conditions, while 10 are in severe conditions. And we know that people who have pre-existing health conditions generally don't make it out alive because, you know, you have COVID-19, especially the cases of the death cases we've counted in this country. Majority of them had pre-existing health conditions. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we read to you that 24 health workers tested positive for COVID-19 in Infanteman. And the special advisor on health to the presidency, Dr. Nsia Sari, on Eyewitness News yesterday said that we don't have enough health workers to manage COVID-19 in the country. I'm going to quote what he said. We don't have enough physical care physicians. We do not have enough physical care nurses. These are the two main important personnel we need for ICU care. So, Mr. Amoa, we are at over 10,000. We've, brought down some of the restrictions on religious activities. Final year students will be going to school starting next week. And here we have Dr. Nsia Sari telling us that we don't have enough health workers to deal with COVID-19. How do we handle this?
Good morning to the good people of this country. I send my regards to the people of Inshiaeso in the Ashanti region. I hope they are watching me. I'm with them. For what you said, or you just said, Dr. Nsia Sari said, I know you wouldn't lie, but I don't know the context in which he said that. And I think if that is the case, I wouldn't be surprised. That means the blame has to be put on all government. This whole pandemic disease took the world by surprise. And as a result, even giant economies, in the attempt to manage the situation, escalated in a negative manner. We all know what happened in US, China, all those places.
Italy.
And how much less a developing economy such as Ghana. If you put it all together, we are not doing bad, but it's also a wake-up call. One thing that I am even afraid of is not what is happening. I'm concerned, I wouldn't say afraid of. It's not what is happening now. What is happening now, all the attempts by all the governments all over the world can be classified as tactical or tactics. It's something that took us by surprise, and we are trying to find solutions to them. But strategically, what are we doing? Statement by Dr. Nsia Sari, if it is in the context that we are all analyzing, should tell us that as a government, we should do more and do better. And
what
as a people, more as in.
We've told people to wear face masks when they go outside.
These are all tactics.
We've set in place all these measures.
These are all tactics. But I'm saying that for him to say that, we don't have enough staff, means that as a country, we are not prepared for uncertainties, not only in the area of health, in so many other areas. When there is flood, what happens? When there is natural disaster, what happens? It means that we shouldn't sit there for something to happen. You know the face of this whole disease that I am afraid of?
What?
Managing the uncertainty.
Well,
God forbid, should it go beyond 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
What do we do?
Have we sat down to define the relevant needed value chain that will define the number of the size of the labor force that we need? And the component of the skill component of the labor force, as Doctor is talking about. How many health workers? How many of them are we going to get as infectologists, as probably virologists?
But already our health worker to citizen ratio was bad before COVID-19.
Come again?
The ratio of doctors to nurses,
exactly.
Doctors to patients, nurses to patients was not that good before COVID.
Sure.
So it won't happen
but the
overnight.
COVID has come as a more warning stuff. I mean, sign or something. It's warning us more that, hey, don't be complacent, don't be sluggish in managing health issues, not only health, other issues. I can tell you that I haven't read any document, but in the developed economies, I wouldn't be surprised by now, they have properly defined value chain. Should you go 1 year, what they will do in terms of logistics they will need, in terms of staff strength they will need, in terms of other factors and variables that they will need if you go 2 years, and they will do that out of properly established, analyzed scientific data with all stakeholders involved, including statisticians, mathematicians, financial, health experts, even the media. Elsewhere, they will do that. So even if you go beyond 2 years and 3 years, you see how they will manage it. But in the developing economies, almost all the time we sit there and we act out of impulse. That is what we do most of the times. We are doing well as a country per the statistics, but I beg them, they should really bring all stakeholders on board again to inform the president, give the president the relevant information. And Mr. President, if it goes beyond 1 year, it is likely we are going to experience 20,000 whatever victims. If it's 20,000, the PPEs we need will cost us this. We need this number of masks. We need this number of health workers. Okay, can we send 2, 3, 4 people outside to learn more about infectology or whatever, so that if it happens, I think this is where we should look at most. I think it's extremely important. And we also have to comply. Now, people are not complying. Almost everywhere you go, they are happy. All of us sometimes we even forget ourselves. People get to your car and they just want to get close with their heads and mouth close to you, and you get scared. They don't have masks. So I think all of us as a people, we have to also pray. I am not an angel, but I believe in prayers, because there is God. If there is no God, then I wonder what is it. God can help us.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
We'll take a look at our second story now. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com, and it says here, task force formed to ensure safe reopening of schools. That's coming from the education minister. So the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has set up a special task force to ensure the safe reopening of schools for final year students. Among other duties, the task force will oversee the provision of personal protective equipment and also ensure strict enforcement of COVID-19 protocols. So the Minister of Education, Dr. Matipoku Prempeh, who made the announcement, said this is to ensure a safe academic environment. And I'm going to quote what he said. He says the president has set up a special team under the office of the senior minister with the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, the Director General of Military Logistics, the Deputy Director General of Police Welfare, the Minister of Information, the Ministry of Local Development, and coordinate with the distribution of logistics and ensure that schools reopening happen safely and securely. We do know that COVID-19 has brought to bear the need to embrace blended learning because we are getting into a new normal, and it is imperative that the universities and all Ghana educational institutions adopt blended learning. So when you go down there, you'll see the guidelines for junior high schools. They are reopening Monday, June 29th. Final year JHS students only. And it breaks it down how long they will be in school. They will split up no more than 30 students in a class. Classes will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. each day. No breaks outside the classroom. Schools have enhanced daily health protocols. Schools will be unavailable for religious activities. No sports outing. There's also a guideline for senior high schools. They will go to school on the 22nd. Final year students and the JHS second gold track only. 6 weeks of academic work, no more than 25 students in a class. All day students and boarding students will be in boarding. Day schools will have enhanced daily health protocols. Dining will be in batches in boarding schools. No visitors will be allowed. Schools are unavailable for religious activities. Again, no sports and sporting events. And then, of course, lastly, the tertiary institutions, they will be going to school on Monday the 15th. Split all classes. Private tertiary institutions are to provide NCTE, number of staff, number of final year students. All non-MOE educational institutions are also expected to reopen on Monday. So this is what they've set up. And finally, foreign students who are outside the country and are identified will be allowed to return, granted their country will allow them to exit. So on the backlog of, within the context of our current COVID-19 cases, Dr. Nsia Sare coming out to say that our help workers, we don't have enough of them to deal with this, and we are bringing students back to school. Are these protocols enough? Are there other places we should be looking at that we have not considered yet? I'll allow you to answer that, but we'll go for a quick break and then continue the conversation. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. It's an interactive show. So if you're watching us on social media, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We'll be right back.
Shop online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. You need fill up? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Again, it's an interactive show. We want to hear from you. So wherever you're watching us from, do use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking. And the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233 and we will get your messages. I still have with me Honorable Abdul Aziz. He's the MP of Mion. And of course, Stephen Anwa, who's the CEO of Maslock. And before the break, we were discussing students going back to school and the special task force that's been set in place to ensure that they're safe, they have the necessary PPE they need to not pass the virus on to each other while they are studying. Honorable Abdulaziz Mohammed, your thoughts on this?
Wow, very serious issues for us here. I don't think that the world has been devastated like COVID is doing to us now, and it's difficult for governments and the world at large to walk that fine balance. Schools to get back to school for final year students at the basic level, that's the junior high school and senior high school, somewhere around 29th, and then tertiary students to get back somewhere on the 15th or so to be able to prepare to write their end of semester exams. I'm aware that some schools have started doing online exam, where the students do the exam and submit online for their lecturers. I don't know if that is not something we can deploy at least at the tertiary level, because one can reasonably guess that students at the tertiary level would have some knowledge of ICT and some ICT facilities that can allow them to submit their work online. That is something I think we should be looking at. If we can compel all tertiary schools to rely heavily on the use of ICT to be able to deal with their lectures and exams. Media houses, I see you make use of the Zoom a platform, and so that's something that the tertiary schools can be looking at. But getting back to senior high school and the junior high school, I'm afraid, but I don't know what the alternative would be. For how long are we going to be home because of COVID?
Well, some countries have actually cancelled the entire school year.
Exactly, and so if you say final year students should go back to school and that you are going to provide PPEs, the question that arises is, are you going to test all the teachers and the students even before they start lectures? That is a question that we need to answer. Do we have the capacity to be able to test all the teachers and the students? I don't think that we have that capacity as a country.
Why would we have to do that? We didn't test the churchgoers and the pastors before.
And so that is the risk that we are taking on ourselves.
Okay.
Dr. Insia had earlier on told us that going forward, the simulation that they did Ghana was going to record in the worst situation about 3 million cases.
Well, that was some World Bank.
Well, we heard it from Dr. Nsia that when they did the
World Health Organization.
Exactly.
Sorry, not World Bank. World Health Organization research.
He had indicated that in the worst situation, about some 3 million Ghanaians would be infected, with 15,000 of them losing their lives. We must be working against such numbers, not just that number, but even close to it. And so before we take an action, we must be able to assess our capacity to be able to deal with what we want to deal with. For instance, when you open churches, when you say students can go back to schools, yes, because they are only final year students, you can reduce the class size to be able to have your lectures. But are you going to test teachers and non-teaching staff? Are you going to test the students? Are you going to be able to provide PPEs to all the students in very deprived communities? For instance, in my constituency, when you go to Sang, Sambu, Pavia, and those places where poverty levels are very high, parents will not be able to afford a face mask for students every day. Because some of these nose masks that we have, we are told to dispose them off at the end of the day.
Well, government will provide that.
Are you sure government can provide nose masks to every school-going child for that period that will be in school?
Well,
especially in very deprived areas. We must look beyond Accra and Kumasi and Takoradi. We must also be interested in the very remote areas. I've just given you a very good example. There are even places where school children don't have access to classroom blocks and they do their studies under trees. How are we going to be able to deal with them? These are questions that we should be asking ourselves. Like the president said, we have a choice between our lives and our livelihoods. I think that as a country, we should insist more on our lives, because even those at the junior high school, how sure are we? There are communities in this country where they have no access to potable water. So even if you were to insist that all students and teachers frequently wash their hands and the running water with soap, I am telling you, in my constituency, more than 70%, if not 80% or so, have no access to running water, clean water that they can wash with. And so I'm not too comfortable.
Is this where people like yourself come in to demand that perhaps government should ensure that these things are provided before the
exactly.
Students go back
if
to
government
school?
Can be able to deploy water tankers to those places, it's not just a matter of providing them with the vertical bucket. You know, you must also make sure that there's water in that bucket that they can use. They are talking about spraying our schools. We must also be sensitive about some of the expenses that we incur. In fact, the experts have told us that the virus does not last on the surface for more than 14 days. Worst situation. These schools have been closed for more than months. And so let's even assume that as at the time that they were being closed, some of the facilities were infected, some of the viruses were around. One can reasonably guess that by now they would have died off.
Thank you.
Why do you want to spend huge resources to disinfect places that we are very certain that we don't have those viruses there?
Okay, thank you very much. Samuel, your thoughts on
thank you very
final
much.
year students going back to school?
I think they have to. I'm a final year student as well.
Oh, really?
I was supposed to graduate in June, my PhD.
Okay.
And because of this, we are hanging. So I think they are going to do our final how do I put? I forgot. We finished with all the
defense.
Defense. Okay. Using the Zoom.
Okay.
And then probably they'll fix graduation day.
How safe would you feel if you had to physically go to a classroom right now to finish it?
I've finished everything.
Yeah,
I finished all my for the defense.
Theoretically speaking, if you were doing your first degree and you had to go to a classroom to actually study and all those things, would you feel safe?
I think to me it's even better, but per our culture and our practice, anything to do with internet and softwares, look at us. Elsewhere, by the time they started from stage 1 class 1 KG, Me, when I was at that age, I was playing Koyom. Do you know Koyom? You say you don't know. You are that about.
No, I know. But let's continue.
She doesn't know. Tell me.
Let's continue the conversation. We're talking about
Koyom.
final year students.
The kids were using Sadi keys. Anyway, so somebody like me definitely it would be very difficult. But at least.
So you would prefer to be in the classroom, if?
Of course, that one. But the Zoom, we have to improvise what we have.
You prefer the manual way of learning.
But I think my honorable made a point that some places are deprived. And how are we going to reach them with these masks? But all these places are actually falling within the designated districts where funds are taken to those places. And I also think, I always say that, we say that leadership is always about Nanado and Mahama. Ghana here, that thing I think is wrong. Leadership on this desk, the leadership is you. His constituency is him. Maslock, it's me. The cameraman is him. We need to do our bit. These are crises that it took all of us by surprise. We don't have enough resources. Even talking about the fact that, they last for 14 days. Trust me, they are all try and errors. Almost every day they come out with new revelations and stuff like that. So everything that we are all doing, we are doing our best to find alternatives to mitigate the adverse impact of this. However, it's also good that he's making suggestions. Government, some places they have problems with water. And I think I support him. Where it's possible and is within our capability in terms of what we have as a state, we could be sending water to those places. Where I disagree is that, because they don't have tap water. It's a reality. What do? We can improvise. They say you can pour.
Yeah, and you can get the Veronica buckets as well.
Exactly. I don't know Honorable too well, but my father was a farmer and a transport owner. And then when we vacate and go to the village, they will go to farm, will come, we will not weed, but people will weed. But when you come back and they are washing your hand, those days, they do like this and they pour. So I think some of these things, there are other ways that the less or the deprived areas they can embark on. But having said that, he also said that we should be careful the way we spend. And I agree with him. I totally disagree that, because it's 14 days, because we cannot be sure whether indeed it's 14 days. But I agree with him because in times such as this, people do not care about the suffering of the masses and the society. They want to cash in. People want to, especially in Africa, it's a fact. Whether in this UNPP or CPP, I think this is the time that even we should take out what is in our pocket and help this situation, rather than the small amount government will vote, or the president or the team will vote, or whatever. How is the team and the members of the team going to manage these resources efficiently? As he's saying, we are understaffed. Look at the West population. In terms of doctor to 10,000 and over. So excess ratio is over 600%. So of course we need to make sure we manage state resources very well and not cash in when people are dying.
Thank you very much. The next story we're looking at has to do with Ghanaians who are stranded in the UK. They will be evacuated on the 17th of June, and they've been asked to ensure that they bear the cost of their 14-day mandatory quarantine, as well as it may be possibly extended to 21 days. We know that initially the people who came into the country the last time when we first initiated the closure of our borders, government paid for that. Your thoughts on these Ghanaians in the UK coming back and them bearing the cost of being in quarantine?
This thing is making me cough.
Okay, don't worry.
Should I say keep it there?
No, lift it up and go like this, then you're fine. Put it up. Put it up. No, up, not down. Up. Yes, and then press it. Perfect.
But we breathe out carbon.
Yes, you're fine.
The outside?
Yes.
So where do they go? They come out of
We'll
this?
figure that out as we go.
I think, again, for the government or authority to draw these inferences in terms of who is going to bear the cost of this quarantine period, it will be very difficult to say the government has done well or even criticize the government. Because at the end of the day, we have asymmetric information management. They are privy to the strength of the government in managing these things in terms of our finances. So maybe analyzing various alternatives and possibilities of handling this. The government probably could say that, oh, we are not having enough, so we bear part of the cost, or we offload all the cost to those who want to come. So you can decide to come or not. Yeah. If we have means of doing that, I will suggest, if we have, because I don't know our strength, you cannot decide to do something, you can't.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? For the quarantine, we should do something for them. But if we can't, we can also criticize, because where I come from, they say the there is not there. It's one of the good English, whatever, by the Ashanti people. They say the there is not there.
Good morning to the Ashanti people.
Yes.
Okay.
So
let me get.
Why are you laughing? You're happy because I said the there is not there.
No, I'm just listening to you.
It's good to evacuate Ghanaians who are stranded abroad. After all, they are Ghanaians, and this is the only place that they have. It's good that government is thinking of evacuating them back to Ghana. Some evacuations were done earlier from Kuwait, if I remember.
Yes.
But the issue that we all talk about here is how to get the maximum returns on our monies. What's the cost involved? I don't think that around this time we should be asking them to pay for everything. Most people, even in this country, have lost income. There has been job losses. Some of them would wish to come, but would not have the resources. So we could have done some targeting to identify people who are really in need and to support them to come. Those who are capable to come on their own could also be asked to pay for it. But to ask that everyone should pay, I don't think that is a fair approach. You remember recently, the first people who came somewhere in March, some questions were raised about the expensive hotels in which they were kept and the cost to the state. And so these are all issues that we should be looking at. I would rather request or appeal that government should extend some support to them. After all, yes, of course, there has been some revenue shortfalls in our economy, but we have also received as much as $1 billion US from the IMF. Through the Bank of Ghana, government has also raised about 10 billion Ghana cedis. The stabilization fund has been used to support some of these things. So I don't think that issue of revenue would be too much to the state, if indeed the state is committed to bringing back our countrymen and women who are stranded abroad. So government should have a look at that one. I don't think it's a fair approach here.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a look at our next story, and it has to do with the Green Book. So I'm says here, verify Green Book project yourself if you doubt my achievements. That's coming from former President Mahama to critics. Former President John Dramani Mahama has urged critics of his infrastructural achievements during his tenure of office to get a copy of the Green Book to verify his projects. He was speaking at the 28th anniversary of the NDC, and he said, let me quote what he said here. All the documents in the Green Book, and I urge all doubters to get a copy and step into the communities and cross-check if the projects outlined there, the e-blocks, the interchanges, the hospitals, and other transformational projects exist only in that book. And of course, he was referring to a statement the president made earlier. He said, we made a pledge to the Ghanaian people to expand and improve the road network while closing the missing links in the network. We had to make this pledge because we know what the so-called unprecedented infrastructure development of the Mahama administration was a fantasy existing in the Green Book and not on the ground. So Mahama has responded to his critics that they can go to these communities and check for themselves if they doubt that the project existed. Your thoughts on this?
One thing about infrastructure, there's a huge evidence in terms of tangibility. So you cannot tell people, oh, go and see if they are not there. One thing about the NDC is that I think still the adoption of propaganda in attaining political capital or having competitive edge in doing politics, they still not abandon that 21st century. Nobody will say that under former President Mahama, the 8 years of the NDC, they never did anything. But the way they touted themselves and talked, my sister, we travel a lot. I'm somebody, I travel a lot. I'm into farming, so I do a lot of, cross-regional, whatever. And because of politics as well. Under Kufuor's 8 years, tangibly, without even going anywhere, between Accra to Temetu Volta region, the trunk road, they are still there. From Accra to Kumasi, and Sewon bypass, and Koko bypass, Kumasi to Kentampo, Kumasi through Western up to Central region, up to Western region, near Bunsun Kwanta, close to Ivory Coast, from even Accra to Central region, Yamans. You see this major, huge infrastructural work, and the evidence is there. You know what? I didn't know you were going to raise this issue. I've done works on 8 years of first MPP in all the areas, health, water, roads, and schools that we built. You'll be shocked. Even
NDC also did similar work.
That's what I'm saying. That not similar.
Okay.
They did something. But
they did something.
Exactly.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they wouldn't, but it's nowhere near.
So you can't compare
exactly.
the two.
But the way they were touting themselves is comparable to Kwame Nkrumah, and that's what they do. And that is why most Ghanaians don't trust the NDC. So nobody is saying that. NDC, look, one of their green books, it wasn't under former President Mahama anyway. I started doing politics so many years ago. They had even cited certain infrastructural development schools, some in Techiman, that were not even built under NDC. So they are fond of doing these tricks and intrigues. Some of the projects are just Jack, where are you projects.
Okay.
You know, Jack, where are you?
I do, thank you. Yes, I do.
They will mention
It's
you go
okay.
there, it's not there.
Let me allow.
Then one last thing, what they do best is that when you're in Accra, you don't know. You go to Wasa and see. Then when you go to Wasa, because you are here, you don't know. You go to Volta region. They've been using these tricks and intrigues. Nobody is saying that under former President Mahama, nothing happened. But per the money they had, per the economy they inherited, as compared to MPP that we inherited.
Have you gone to these areas to see for yourself if the projects are not there?
But you're in Ghana, all our roads are bad. When NDC was ousted from power, within 1 year, look, almost every place in Accra, we didn't say, we saw the pothole. So 1 year, everything. Look, one of the major roads happened under former President Mahama is between Fofolso and Sola. Me, I travel a lot. They commissioned that road 2016. I beg you, if you drive on the road, sometimes 15 minutes you don't meet any car. Go and check now. They are like pancake. Under Kufuor, the roads they did Accra to Volta region. Go and check. Central region.
Thank you.
So President Mahama should know that when it comes to infrastructure, in terms of performance, his is worst in our history. Not that he didn't do anything.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Abdulaziz.
Well, for our colleagues in the MPP who would want to tickle themselves and tend to laugh, they can continue to do that. The truth of the matter is this. President Akufo-Addo, when he was commissioning the Tema motorway interchange, said that the projects that are captured in the Green Book are fantasy projects and that they exist only in the Green Book. Perhaps, like Felix said, perhaps he was working on some of the pages of the book at the Tema interchange. You see, President Mahama, President Mills.
Please, who said that? Felix.
President Mahama, President Mills.
You could repeat this.
President Mahama,
please allow him.
President Mahama, President Mills. Whether you like it or not, under this Fourth Republic, have embarked on some unprecedented infrastructure. That is a matter of record, and that also because President Mills, President Mahama understood the importance of infrastructure to providing critical services such as water and electricity, education to people. They also realize the importance of expanding the economic base of this country. When you expand your base, the base of your economy, it is able to generate jobs for people. And even constructing those infrastructure, Ghanaian youth were employed and were paid. Now, when you begin to say that some of these things don't exist, you see, the Green Book could not have captured everything. What it captured were what I call the legacy projects, projects that are game-changing projects. And some of them, even when you are sleeping, you cannot deny them. A very good example, in the health sector alone, President Mills, President Mahama invested over $2 billion in the health sector. So today, when our colleagues say we left behind some huge debt, these are some of the infrastructure that we can use to justify the debt. A very good example. Today, University of Ghana Medical Center, the Bank of Ghana Hospital, that were supervised and constructed under President Mahama is what you use to treat your so-called VIP COVID-19 patients. True or false? Circle interchange is just about 5 minutes away, 5 minutes walk away from here. You can't deny that. The Kaswa interchange. I am saying that under President Mahama, over 1,700 chiefs compounds were constructed across the length and breadth of this country. I am telling you that President Akufo-Addo and all his appointees, including my friend here, you travel abroad. Don't use the T3 when you come back from abroad. Don't you use epinephrine? Is that a fantasy project? Does that only exist in the Green Book? I am telling you, Atuabu, you know how strategic it is. Constructed under President Mahama. Just tell me, are there anybody, right from President Akufo-Addo to the last person in NPP, to mention just one project that was captured in the Green Book that does not exist? And let me tell you, access to safe drinking water and electricity, including the president-owned backyard, the Chedi area, President Mahama supplied them with water at the cost of 7.9 million euros. And so even the president and himself are beneficiaries of the infrastructure of President Mahama.
Thank you.
I dare you to tell me any single project that you can find in the Green Book that doesn't exist.
Thank you.
We have borrowed over 150 billion in the last 3.5 years. Can you mention just one project that you can compare to Bank of Ghana Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Center, Atuabu Gas? Just mention one. All the money that we have borrowed, over 150 billion. So stop this propaganda and this lies.
Thank you very much, Honorable Abdul Aziz Mohammed. We're going to look at our last story and then you'll tie it into your response to the questions he asked. Voter registration exercise begins on June 30th, actually. So your thoughts on the voter registration exercise beginning on June 30th? People are saying that not everyone has the Ghana card, not everybody has a passport, yet we're going to do this whole new voter registration exercise. Your thoughts on that, and then tie it all in.
I would like to beg the one day. Let's come here.
Okay.
2 hours or 1 hour. Bring evidence of infrastructure work. 8 years of MPP compared to them.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the voter exercise.
I'm coming.
He just said answer one. Yes, please go ahead.
Mention one.
I should mention one?
Yes, that exists in the Green Book, but does not exist in reality.
But how can you ask me your own Bible?
Okay, that's fine.
What I'm saying is,
we are running out of time for the benefit of our viewers. Go ahead.
If you had me right, 8 years of MPP. I'm saying next time, let's bring it.
Okay.
You haven't seen the medical whatever.
They're getting it wrong.
The surgery, whatever.
Allow him.
Have you seen emergency hospital in Kumasi? You're talking about mention all the trunk roads.
Were you able to compare that? The question was, it's okay, but
talking about what issue? Talking about what about the Green Book?
Honorable Abdul Aziz,
are they real or not?
Mohammed, I need you to allow him to make his point. Or we're going to close the segment. Thank you very much.
You didn't finish.
Thank you.
I was reading something and I'm shocked. Why? I now understand why Ghanaians think former President Mahama should never be given any chance. Becoming president of this country. That was 7th April 2016 from Graphic. This is what he said. I believe the Electoral Commission should be allowed to do its work. This harassment is unnecessary. 2016 under former president. Who has been a president before and believes the fact that the EC has the constitutional mandate to conduct this exercise. And now the same person saying that EC, he will not even accept the elections.
Was that within the context of a new voter register?
Of course, that has led to all this. In any case, I want to assure former President Mahama that whether he accepts or not, if he loses, he cannot do anything. 1992, when the NDP fraternity found that the EC's work, they were not interested in the arrangement, they opted out, the NDC ruled. If you don't want to vote, don't go there and register. These threats, we are telling them, we are going to preserve, protect, and make sure the lives of the young and the old, dwarf and colossals, no matter where, even whether you're an NDC member and you put up good behavior, you'll be preserved and protected.
Thank you very much. We have run out of time, so I need to give him 2 seconds and then we wrap up with the show.
Do you say 2 seconds?
Just 20 seconds, please. We've run out of time.
President Mahama has spoken, and he has spoken the minds and hearts of all of us in the NDC. That we will not accept.
Not all of you.
We will not accept the
Not
results
all
of
of
any.
you. I can mention it.
We will not accept the results of any flawed election.
He did not allow
We
me.
are saying that having a credible register is sine qua non to having a credible elections. If you are convinced that you won the last election with over 1 million votes with this same register, what is making you run away from that same register? If you are convinced you won the elections over 1 million votes with this register, and if you are convinced you have delivered as you promised, what has become so bad about this same register that you won with? All that we are telling you is that
not easy.
As a party, we will protect our democracy. We would support the EC in doing what is right and what is fair. We will not allow you. We will not allow you. We will not allow you to the EC, the NIA.
So if you vote, don't come and register. If you come and misbehave, you smell pepper. You know,
thank you very much. Abdul Aziz Mohammed is the MP of Ghana, and Stephen Amwa is the CEO of Maslow. Thank you both very much. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will be right back.
If you register, don't go and vote.
Oh, come on, we would.
The moms and dads out there, we are bringing school to the radio. Parents, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, GBC and USAID are starting an exciting new radio education program to help your child to continue learning to read at home. It is the Ghana Learning Radio, the reading program. Beginning 15th June 2020, some of your favorite primary school teachers will take you and your child through exciting, interactive and easy to follow radio lessons that will contain stories, interactive games, riddles, and humorous characters. We are planning 2 sessions of reading for B1 to B3 for your child from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with repeats on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Think of it as school on the radio during this outbreak of COVID-19. Stay safe and get ready for a whole new way of learning. Tune into the fun June 15, 10:30 a.m. on all GBC radio channels nationwide. We will be waiting for you. Learn to read, read to learn. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education, GES, GBC, and USAID.
I got some money. But I ain't giving it to you. I got some money. But I ain't giving it to you. Ora tachelete. Mata ora tachelete.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady, and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
On Footprints this weekend, Major General Henry Kwame Anyitoho continues with the rest of his story.
What happened with Rwanda? The Ghanaian troops were in the demilitarized zone between the government forces and the Rwandese Patriotic Army. General Kagame actually spoke to me, myself, that we should pull our troops out of there.
So Habyarimana is shot in his plane, dies,
And then it was General Kagame. Is it the current president?
Oh, yes. He was the commander of the rebel forces.
The rebel forces.
Advancing towards Kigali.
Okay.
So he called me and asked that I should get my troops taken. I said, no, we were doing a piece of job. We were not going to go. He said, no, you have to take them out. General Maurice Baril, who also happened to be a Canadian, he said, Henry, our mission is in trouble. We have failed. And I said, sir, we have not failed. We are not living here. We are not leaving this Rwanda place. Otherwise, our names will go down into history. 2 generals, graduates of Marine Staff College. We are in a mission. No, we are not going to go. Then he said, will your soldiers stay? Will the Ghanaians stay? I said, yes, of course. We are not going anywhere. He said, you will stay? I said, yes. By then, I hadn't sought any permission from home at all.
Join your host Samuel Atamensa this Saturday as celebrated Army General Major General Henry Kwame Anyidoho takes us through his life as a military officer. Footprint show this Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. only on City TV. City TV, it's your world.
Footprints is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
The mic burners, girls ready ask for money. Mama jana say say shatawali. Ha, my you amuni muhuni. Girls, I'm wake up namudi. Mainstream opinion na wawia. Where your rapper ya de say wana wa moa. Be mo bobo kutia. Wa wo padi girl wa shada na wamia. Any power no cancel. University ni ba odan tem. Hey, fresh girl odi di atem. Boss check out that work asan them. Charlie, guys, someone I'm a moshi antipe. What's a day sente? What guys I'm much more things to be. What you want to win him upon one? What you should not have top so chenwa. Laboro, guys, I'm super judge kubo. Okay, they make me an hour so. I need to see an hour or so. What the answer will become? I think I'm a woman has a woman. Come on, you're going to be a penalty of the second year. Come on, here's a woman. It's not near the pan, I watch him. Sugar that is the way of the human. Would you see Kajo be good? Ah, in Africa, Mama bad, they be also mama. Hey, Nasa one ma. When you mobina will see a new bar. School say one pa. Where your football and a woman who are for. Fine girl, don't mean to work it. Exam hall of boy was sweating. Kum chacha bro for I say. As I made to children now at it. Guys, I'm with you to be frank. Body house on one bungo for trunk. Hey, America Donald Trump. Ghana could tell you and you not a bribe. They said you're making Yana what you saw. And you just pen also so. Ah, what the answer will become? I think about Poma has a woman. Come on, you're calling me. And Peno Kawaka, the second year. Come on, has a woman. It's in my name, I watch him. Namia Hamatan, a pebble. At the Chebre to Tobre, Charlie, Opio Riadi, or Bako one table. Minister Ghana Sikana Wedi, or my door, Yawa Diana Way. Charlie, economy, Obiano to what the Sewayomi. Come on, let's see. Gangster, but that club. Akasakasanya Timidi, Rapper Shishi, we are rap. You said you make a Viana watch so. Manuja si na was so. Ah, what the answer will become? I think about Mama has a woman. Come on, you're going to be him. If I don't come back, the second be him. Hey, come on, has a woman. If you manage to plan, I watch him.
is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Supports the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
All right, welcome back. And one interesting show that we've had on TV for about 3 months now has been Living Fields Agri Challenge. Now, the presenter, the producer, and director are all in studio with me this morning for us to have a conversation because they're about to hit the grand finale. And I have with me Nicholas Bigugnate, and he's the director of Living Fields Agri Challenge. We also have Jessica Janet Mate, who's the presenter of the same show, and Perez Edunyame. He's the producer of the show. Welcome, lady and gentlemen. How are you all doing?
Thank you.
All right, so
Doing good.
give us a brief, for those who have missed it, haven't seen it, don't know what's going on, give us a brief update on where we are, where we find ourselves with the challenge.
Right. So when we came here the last time, we told you that it's an initiative by RMG Ghana Limited.
Yes.
To get young people to get into agriculture, be passionate about agriculture, and see it as a viable business avenue. And so we had that. They came for their interviews, the selection was done, they came into the house, they formed their groups, and then they got their colors, and then they started their training. They had agronomical trainings with our professors. You know, the faculty was heavy. And then they started the actual farm work. They've learned how to draw their budgets, how to draw business plans. We have fully trained farmers to go out there, and they're very excited to actually finish this and start their own farms. So we've showed all 12 episodes since that time, 12 March when we started.
Wow.
And now we're going on to our final episode.
Super. All right, so what has this challenge met your expectations?
Yeah, from where I sit here. Because, you know, like, beginning the whole thing, like, the worry was Agri and entertainment. How do you get people to get interested in it? So we're actually like challenged a bit to make sure that we don't get people swayed off on the starts. We don't give them a boring show. So, I mean, like putting everything together, trying to educate people, also get them like entertain as well. It wasn't easy, but eventually we achieved it.
Okay. And for you as a producer, what would you say has been your biggest challenge in all of this?
I think the biggest challenge has been the fact that this is something new. You know, so we didn't have anything to learn from. We had to make our own mistakes, learn from it. I mean, this is farming, and you have to get people to watch somebody spraying applying fertilizer or spraying chemicals and something. It's not something that we've seen on TV before. So there was not a lot of material that we could research from, to study from. But apart from that,
I'm having a great team. It's been an interesting journey, you know, and it's been possible. It's been possible. We've been able to do it, but the main challenge was that it's not been done before, and it's something completely new. And when you're doing anything completely new, it comes with its own, you know, challenges such that there's nothing to learn from. But then going forward, that then becomes the mantle on which we step to get things done. So now we have something to study from, which is the season 1. So the challenge that we face has now become the ingredient to propel us to the next level.
Super. You seem very excited and animated as you're talking about the experience. Give us a feeling. How's it been like for you as the presenter of the show?
Host, you know, this isn't something that I had done before. So I was challenged to grow. And I lived with them for like a brief period before the show actually started. So I got to know them personally. So I've learned from them, learning on the field together, learning from the professors, the faculty, Mr. Kote, Roland, Reverend Foster, all of them, Mrs. Eduse of Eden Tree. It's been wonderful. It's really been a journey. I've seen growth. And this is something that I'm really passionate about. So I see this to be, like he said, something to help us do more and do better in the future.
Nicholas, the farmers, Jessica said, they said that we now have farmers. Things. What do you see this show as propelling the grassroots young people into like a movement into farming? What's the perspective you have looking at what has happened so far?
So from my point of view, you know, starting the whole thing, people keep asking me, how do you actually achieve entertainment with farming? But right now, I was even talking to Perry on our way here. We have a lot of people who are interested in the season 2. If there should be one, they want to know the auditions so that they come around. And people who are not even doing Agri are interested because of the way we actually made it happen. We made it look very realistic as well, because you know, in our side of the country, we don't usually do reality TV shows. You get me?
No, we don't.
So for it to actually take people who are camera shy and new to TV and make them actually like appear this genuine and real on TV, it makes everyone knows it's achievable and it's easy. So even with camera fright, I'm still interested in the season 2. So this will tell us that we've come a long way.
Super. Now tell us, Perry, the grand finale is when?
The grand finale
and
is
what can viewers expect?
The grand finale is this Saturday, 9 p.m. on City TV. Initially, the plan was to have a proper event, you know, at one of the auditoriums and have it, but you know, thanks to COVID-19 and you know, ban on social gathering and everything, we've had to do a virtual show. So we've done something that has not been done before. Like I keep saying that we didn't have any source material to study from. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's something completely new. Those who watch a lot of Hollywood production may be able to relate. But in terms of our scope here, we've done something that's completely new. I think Jessica will tell us more about it. But it's an evening where the contestants are gonna come and present stuff to us. She will explain a bit more. And it's not just going to be them coming and, I mean, you ask yourself, they are farmers. What are they going to do on a stage? You know, what are they going to come and farm? Are they going to bring us the vegetables they've harvested? What are they going to do? But it's something that's engaging, very educative, you know, and at the same time, very fun to watch.
So, what can we
like
expect?
You said, in the grand finale, they're supposed to give a report of the challenge that they did. They were supposed to grow cabbage and sweet pepper. So that report comes, and then our judges will decide, okay, did you do well? Is it possible to do better? But then they are also planning to go out there and start their own business. So there's money that we're given and inputs, you know, supporting packages to them. And is worth over 300,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
So that's a lot. There are trips to BASF in Germany, in South Africa, which would happen when, you know, our borders are open. So they are supposed to prove to our judges that this is your business plan. You have to pitch it to us. And if I think it's viable, then I would want to invest in it or not. So that is what we're going to watch on Saturday.
Wow. Now, can you give us a gist or a picture into some of the experiences that you've been through, considering coronavirus, COVID-19, in this season, how have you managed all of that?
Okay, so as a director, we face one of the biggest challenges in production, like the very biggest challenges. You know, we were shooting and we had TV time sets whilst we were still working. Okay, and we had our plans set well before Corona set in, and it started showing on TV even before the Corona thing came, and it came to block the production. And it had to continue on TV without actually having a glitch to make anyone know that something is wrong. And we managed to shoot and edit and put it on TV within days, like with serious limitations. And we're not being able to move, working online.
Because at the beginning there was lockdown as well, right?
You get it. So we're working online. Imagine a director in a different house, editor in a different house, like sound person in a different house, doing like technician somewhere else, working just with the internet. And you know how our internet condition here is. And you making sure you don't break the production to kill people's vibe. It was crazy. But you know, in the end, it's a learning process, and I'm very happy you've come this far.
What are some of the things that you guys had to learn in terms of skills or in terms of mindset change in order to pull this off? What are some of the things you can?
So I'll answer that. But to top up to what he said, I think I want to commend RMG very, very much, because during the whole Corona era, the lockdown era, they made sure that the contestants, because mind you, they were already at the farmhouse. They were already at the Asuchari. And then the lockdown came, so nobody was allowed to go home. But RMG made sure that all the safety protocols, everything they needed, was moved to them. They were taken care of health-wise. Everything. Everybody was safe, and everybody was protected. You know, and then when the eases started coming out, we also managed to do what was necessary. So I just want to commend RMG that even though it was an offshore thing, they didn't neglect them. They did what was necessary to do for their safety and for their health-wise. Now, coming to your question, the main skills we had to learn, I mean, I speak for myself and for my team, was learning to shoot things in conditions that we can't control. You know, it's very, very easy to do a production like a movie, a music show or something in a studio. You know, it's roofed out, control the sound and everything. But when you're going on a farm, you go there one day, there was a time when there was raining heavily.
It destroyed the equipment.
Exactly.
It destroyed some equipment in the rain. Like something stopped working.
Exactly. But
we still had to improvise.
Because and the thing is that when you are farming, these are the realities you face. There are days you go on your farm, it's flooded. There are days you go there. There were times when we killed pythons. Exactly. Like,
I see.
Because that's a reality. If you're going to farm, you're going to the bush. These are the things you face. So
take us into that experience. Killing a python. I mean, were you geared up? Were you ready? Were you prepared? What did you have? Sticks, machetes? How do you deal with a python when it springs on you out of the blue?
I don't think
with all the equipment and the people, the guys are present. You guys are there. I mean, help us to get a feeling.
I don't think there's anybody in this world who will ever be prepared to face a python.
Okay.
You know, I mean, unless maybe they're trained specially or something, but you face it and then whatever it is that you have, you know, sticks or whatever, stones, whatever, you have to improvise, because these are the realities on the ground. You know, we're working on a huge field, and just behind our field is a virgin land. Virgin land is land that hasn't been worked on before, so it's like a bush. You know, so, I mean, RMG has done well to cordon off our field, but we don't control the forests around.
That's behind it.
So sometimes you are there and then you see one snake, you pass it.
Wow.
You have to run. I mean, you're holding your camera, you're holding your whatever, actually, life. You have to run. So these are some of the things that we face. And when we face them, we go there prepared. We go there with the mindset that any of these things can happen. We have agricultural backgrounds, we have people, technicians who have, professionals who have educated us. So we go there prepared. But some of these things, some of us have never been to the bush before. So we are prepared, but we are still taken aback when we face it. So I mean,
always with the Wellington boots.
Oh yes, that's just. I mean, once you're always protected is also very important. And I mean, we learn all these things in the show. If you had been following, you know, we make sure that your PPEs are important. Your safety protocols are very, very
important. Are you going to show us at some point some of the behind the scenes that we don't get to see on screen?
We'll put it online
on our YouTube channel.
You know, like, cause we have a special segment like that. We put it online.
Like because I don't want to give too much away.
It'll be fun to see some of those things. It'll be fun to see some of those things.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
How different will season 2 be, if there'll be a season 2?
Yeah.
Considering the level of exposure and experience you've gained in season 1?
Season 2 will be better. Because, you know, season 1 is creating something from a concept stage.
Yeah.
Nothing to watch as a reference. So it was everything pictorial in the mind and actually like making it show on TV. Honestly speaking, from my point of view, it wasn't easy. And one other challenge I faced was working with people who are not TV friendly. Do you get it? And you trying to achieve reality whilst they know you are shooting them. Do you get it?
So people tending to always stare in the camera.
You tell them act like there's no camera. And they'll act like there's camera.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Okay.
And you know, normally with directors, we shoot professional actors.
Yes.
People who are ready to act. So even though you do retakes, it wouldn't be a lot. But this happened to be people. So sometimes you have to hide. Make them feel they are not being videoed.
Oh wow, I see.
Just to achieve the reality
Candid
of it.
shots.
That's it. And this was something new for me because, like I said, reality TV is not really a thing in Ghana. So having this as a case study, the season 2 will be far better.
What are you looking forward to, season 2?
Yes, I'm looking forward to more growth, more experience, exposure, getting people to ask me more questions about agriculture, because I want to be that face for young people in Ghana and Africa about agriculture.
Perry, how do we go from creating this show to connecting what we have now, which I guess is a vehicle, okay, for creating a movement, right? To connecting this with policymakers and so on and so forth, so that it becomes something much, much bigger than just a TV show, you know, but it becomes something that actually impacts an entire generation.
That's an important question, and just a couple of days or a couple of weeks ago, we had a prominent person in the country telling Ghanaians that if you want to be poor, then you go into farming. You know, I think it's high time that everybody gets to watch what farming really is like. You know, a lot of times we all know that farming is lucrative. You know, anybody who wants to go into it, it seems a little bit distant. But here's a case whereby policymakers, investors, bankers, students, everybody watch it. I mean, we've brought farming, and this is the field work. We've brought what is on the ground on your TV, so you get to watch it from nursery all the way to not just harvest, but all the way to the marketability and the various possible ways in which agriculture can be used or utilized. So this is the time whereby we expect policymakers to watch what we are doing, understand what goes into it pertinently. You know, it's not just about the crops or whatever, but it goes way beyond that. You know, our roads, it goes into sanitation, it goes into how import, export, the market, you know, all these areas need to be looked at. But sometimes it's one thing talking about these things, and it's another thing getting to show the person that, look, this is the realities of farming. You know, so watch it, understand this. When we are telling you that we need better this for that, you understand what we are going to use it for, because you've seen it the first time on your TV screens. So we expect that all the stakeholders, anybody who is interested, anybody who is concerned with the agribusiness chain, right, get to watch this, get to understand what goes on. And mind you, we also have the faculty who are esteemed people in agriculture.
Who are some of the faculty?
We have Professor Ofosuenin, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Central University. We have Professor Irene Agri, who is a lecturer at University of Ghana. We have Mr. William Kote, who is the Managing Director of RMG Ghana Limited. He has over 25 years of experience. Also, we have on board City's very own Samens. I mean, you guys have started City Farms now. We have Reverend Foster Benson, the CEO of Glowfed. We have Mrs. Kropaduse, who is the Eden Tree owner. You know, the biggest vegetable processing company in Ghana. So I mean, we have all these. We have Mr. Willa, my very own boss, the general manager, my boss, the general manager for RMG Ghana Limited, and MD for ALSA in Tumu. You know, we have all these people who come from all over the country with years and years and years of professional and physical experience in agriculture, who are also giving their guidelines. So we get to face the challenges, and they get to tell us the ways forward. You know, they are not policymakers to be able to make things happen, but they get to teach us the ways forward. So we expect policymakers to be contacting these people behind the scenes and then fixing some of these problems that agriculture face in the country. And I think that works in that aspect, and then it gives people a more informed angle to agriculture.
Okay, so tell us again, grand finale, when is it?
This Saturday.
Okay.
At 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
City TV.
On City TV.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much to all of you. It's been very exciting for me. I'm sure you've enjoyed the whole experience, and we'll definitely have a further conversation about, you know, the expansion of what we are doing here with Living Fields Agri Challenge. So thank you to you, Nicholas Big Gun Nate, Jessica Janet Mate, and then also to you, Perry Idrinyame. All right, and so don't forget it. It's Saturday, 9 p.m. Fantastic. Come again?
Social media handles.
Yes, go let us know.
Follow our social media handles on Living Fields Agri Challenge across board: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. Living Fields Agri Challenge. Just search us on it and get informed about it. Get to know how the season is going to end, and then we're also going to open the nominations up for the season 2. Anybody who wants to come on board, any investor, any sponsor who wants to come on board, just follow our social media, contact us through any of these avenues, and we will communicate to you. Also, leave your comments on what you expect for us to do in season 2, and we're definitely going to do that for you. Make sure we're gonna enjoy it. So Saturday 9 p.m. join us on City TV.
All right, so fantastic. Now, as we take a short break, we're going to come back. Something very interesting coming up. We're going to learn how to handle your hair. Now, Entertainment Highlights is up next. Take a look at that, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Yesterday, Shatta Movement boss Shatta Wale asked the police to seize the car he bought for Joint 77. This happened after a heated argument between Shatta Wale and his former militant Joint 77 on Hits FM, which even led to revelations of certain secrets. During the argument, Shatta Wale said he was going to take back the car he bought for Joint 77, and he truly did after the show. According to the news reports, the interview was arranged by the producers to plead with Shatta Wale to forgive the militants and take them back into his camp. Joint 77 is among the militants who were recently sacked by Shatta Wale for being lazy with their music career and peddling falsehood about the Shatta Movement's boss. Ghanaian actress Beatrice Chinri, popularly known as Miliki Miku from KJTR sitcom, has died. Robert Chinri, a brother of the late actress, confirmed the news of her death to peacefmonline.com, stating that his sister had been ill for some months and her condition worsened yesterday, so she was rushed to the hospital but died upon arrival. She died at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital of high blood pressure and other health complications. Miliki Miku played the role of the tea seller in the hit series KJTR and also featured in the YOLO TV series. She left behind 2 kids. Nollywood actress Joke Silva has reacted to the false news that her husband, actor Olu Jacobs, is dead. While speaking with journalists, Silva described the news as depressing, adding that her husband is alive and well. The actress, who disclosed that her hubby will clock a new age in July, revealed that she had been receiving calls from her friends and associates who wanted to know if the reports were true. The Nigerian entertainment industry is no doubt endowed with a lot of talented individuals, and some of them have been in the business for a long time now and served as mentors to others. However, death is a reality that every human being must face, and even talented individuals are not left out. A lot of people have condemned the rumor mongers since the news broke. And that's all for Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwame.
is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Supports the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the COVID-19 season has brought with it a lot of problems, and a lot of us have been finding ways to get back to who we were before the pandemic hit. For a lot of women, that means putting on their best makeup or putting on their best weave. But right now, we're all working with a very tight budget. So Yvette Ahenkwa, who's the CEO of Bake and Slave Makeup Shop and Weave Store, will walk us through how to revamp our old weave. So as you're watching us, you have some old weave in the house, you don't really know what you're doing with it, you're used to changing your weave every 2 months, but now, you know, money's tight. Grab all the weaves and we're gonna help you learn how to turn them into brand new weaves. And throughout the conversation, if you have any questions for her, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana and you still want some tips, just use the country code +233. Good morning, Yvette.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into all of this, what does bake and slay mean?
Actually, I'm a makeup artist and I do hair as well.
Okay.
So there's a term called baking in makeup, which basically is highlighting a few areas on your face.
Okay.
So after we bake your face, then we slay you as well.
Okay,
with
so
the
you
hair,
bake and
you slay you.
All right.
Yeah.
So today we're doing old wigs.
Yes.
Whew. These guys look. Where do we start from? I'll let you go. You're the teacher.
Sure. So let's start from this body wave right here.
Okay.
So I'll just fix it. I think you should get a mannequin at home to make it very easy for you. when doing it. And you get a few T-pins. These are T-pins which keep the hair in position and secure it for whatever you're about to do. So you avoid letting it pierce through your lace. If it's a closure, a frontal, you don't let it pierce through the lace. So you can place it somewhere behind the back, on the side, and on the other side as well. Then you need to get these two. These are essentials that you need when fixing your hair at home or revamping your hair. So this is actually my favorite brush. The reason for these very brushes are they detangle the hair. Most of the time, old hair ends up getting detangled and all of that. So you treat your hair at home just like you treat your hair, your natural hair. So after you are done combing it, this is actually a dry treatment. There are two processes. I'll try and take you through both processes. So this is a dry treatment. So we'll first go in with our leave-in. This is our leave-in. So a few pumps should be fine. Then you run it through the hair. You run it through the hair to the very tips. You run it through. Then you comb through as well. So actually this hair can be straightened, it can be curled, anything you want to actually do with the hair. And actually good hair can do both, can be straightened and curled as well. So after you are done with the leave-in, then you get your blow dryer. Your blow dryer, you put it on.
Okay, I'll hold. Thank you. So you have to treat the weave as if you're treating your
hair,
own real hair.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Because when you don't do it like that, it actually it sheds. So if you don't treat it, it sheds the more and gets much worse than before.
So why do you have to put
this is a leave-in,
okay.
treatment.
Okay.
So after that, then you blow dry to help detangle it better.
And it already feels like it's almost new.
Exactly. So after that, I will come in with my hair polisher from olive oil.
But you can use any hair polisher.
Any hair polisher, but very little. Else the hair would rather turn out to be greasy at the end.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want it to look too greasy.
So
we
then
don't want that.
You run it through. Okay. And not forgetting the tips.
Okay.
The tips are also very important.
Okay. So when you do this, it gives it a bit of
extra shine. Yeah, as well. So then you brush through one more time. The brushing is very essential.
Why?
So because every time you run your hair through, you tend to mess it up a little. So then you brush through to straighten it more. So you brush through, and there you go. So I like to teach you a little straightening process that you can do at home. I'll just do a little for you to have a look.
So you're parting it?
I'm parting, yes, the hair. So then you need a clip as well to help keep the hair in check. So then we clip the hair to the top, and you have a little below. So when doing it, if you want a more flatter effect, you take it in small bits. So then you comb out your hair from the tip. And always when you are combing, you comb from the tip to the roots.
Why?
Else when you take from the roots, it tends to tear more. When you comb from the roots to the tip. So you take it from the tips and you comb slowly to the top.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's usually tangled at the
exactly.
At the tip. No, really.
And most people don't also know how to comb even their wigs.
Yeah.
So when you do it like that, you can get every corner right.
Wow. So even combing is a skill.
You know.
Wow.
So with our straightening,
it's not easy.
with our straightening, you need to.
I'll hold this for you.
Thank you. And you pull.
So you have to hold it that tight?
You know, yes, it has to be very tight to come out very straight.
Okay. So what inspired you to get into the beauty industry?
Actually,
while we're straightening it out, let's get to know each other.
So with the beauty industry, actually it began from my mom. My mom is a beautician. So since I was a little girl, I've always liked the beauty industry. I remember always wanting to do some makeup, even when I was young, and paint my nails and all of that.
Wow.
So that was the inspo, and it inspired me to be a beautician as well.
And at what point did you say, I'm actually going to pursue this as a career and own my own business?
I think in 2017, when I was done with aviation school.
Oh,
I was
aviation school.
yes.
How did you end up there?
It's also actually another passion of mine.
Oh, wow.
So I studied cabin crew services. So from aviation school, then I was like, no, this has always been my passion from the onset. So I want to do this.
So you never actually, did the whole cabin crew?
No, I actually worked with a few institutions. I ventured into hospitality a bit as well.
Okay.
So from there, then I began my own business.
How has the journey been, making women look beautiful?
It's not been easy, but we've been trying to do our very best. And one of the things that psychs me up very well is being able to see the customer smile and happy with whatever thing I do for them. Because most of the time they come to my end and they complain, oh, I went here, the person did this and it wasn't too nice and all of that. But you've been able to do this for me and I'm happy. So at least that inspires and motivates me as well. So,
and where is your shop located?
It's located at Gulf City, exactly at High Tension. So that's where we are. We're also on Instagram, on Facebook as well.
Please share your handles with us as we're looking at some of your nice work.
Sure, thank you. So on Facebook, we are Bake and Slay Makeup Store.
Okay.
And on IG, Bake and Slay _store. So.
Wow, you're looking at some of your pieces here. They're so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was actually a very old weave.
Wow.
Yes.
And you turned it into...
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. So
women don't have to buy new weaves.
No, it's not. It's not compulsory at all.
That is so cool. I'm one of the non-weave wearers of the world. Never owned a pair in my life.
You have to try
and the whole thing just looks so difficult to me, but you've made it look simple. I can just buy 2 weaves. And manage them for the rest of the year. Call it a day.
Yeah, you have to.
Wow. So any beauty tips for weave owners out there, how to keep their weaves from, not falling apart? Because some people will buy weave the same time. One person will handle it for years, another person will just destroy theirs in months.
Exactly. So the tip I can give you is to own a very good brush like the one I showed you before, this very one, the white tooth comb. And also, you need a hair polisher as well and a leave-in to make it very simple.
So don't leave it so dry.
No.
Then it will look like nothing,
Yes, So you treat your wig at home just like you treat your own natural hair. So when you do that, your wig is good to go. So this is a little straightening I did. So you can either straighten or curl it like this. And you are good to go. Wow. So you don't need to buy a new wig.
And it has a lot of volume.
Yes, this is actually a very old wig. It's been with this is a customer's order for about a year and a half. Wow. So she just brought it in for me to do it for her. So with just a little product I put in there, you can see it's looking very shiny and all.
So if we don't want to do it ourselves because some of us are lazy, that's the truth, and we have things to do, can you do it for us?
Sure, I can. Sure.
Where do we contact you again, Yvette?
So my contact handle is 0245 127 304. 0245 127 304.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That's Ahenkwan, the CEO of Slay and Bake. No, Bake and Slay. Do you slay before you bake, or you have to bake before you slay?
We bake before we slay.
Okay. Bake and Slay. You can follow them on social media. So if you're a woman out there and you have all sorts of old wigs, you don't know what to do with them, and you're a little tight on the cash, grab them all, send them to Yvette and her team, and they will help you out. Or you can rewatch this episode and do it yourself at home. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will be right back.
I'm riding, yeah. Give me family, yeah. Be a more than boss who come as some pan. That be bizarre what you do for yourself. Nancy, oh, how much drink pan. Why you figure say you pay it? Hey, I come as some crack, I swear. So, so best I Peter and Jack, I swear. Mama, every day, free, my brother. You better shut up, oh, my friend. Maybe my name is Gagan. And then you can have me.
For the hate into me boy in your casa. Street in the so high ribro ne bata. Yanko pon the fire no with me to set charger when this time away your kwase ya could be so solid that my God is able to deliver and team instruction. Sika kan but me bosha wa when yaji. Me family who she ni pension musi mi muade. Sell out fellas a common to Boswate. Bosu Chaswe, Obeka, Koswe, Fig G was way, na Papa Judge Boswe. No joke for here, was swording. I hear Oshasha Quena Kutuchu, Sammy Ho Obesray. Drama, Kasa Wako Semia Pope Rama, or Semi Shitogo, me body new designer. Yesu, woman tell my punch a trouser. Me can't need him and him, but me mama say hunter. I'm riding, yeah. Give me family, yeah. Be a more than boss who come as some pan. That be bizarre what you do for yourself. Nancy, oh, how much drink pan. Why you figure say you pay it? Hey, I come as some crack, I swear. So best I Peter and Jack, I swear. Mama, every day, free, my brother. You better shut up, oh, my friend. Maybe my name is Gagan.
So that's Amarado and Familia, and we have him here with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Tell us a bit about yourself. I'm good.
Okay, my name is Derek Safokantanka, known as Amarado in music. I do rap, hip hop, Afrobeat. Yeah, Kumasi based. Yeah, that's it. Okay. The scariest rapper under the sun, you know.
Yeah. I don't think that's scary. But your laptop's working, so don't worry about using your mic. Tell us a bit of the collaborations you've done over the years and what inspires your music.
Okay, I think I am inspired by how my fans see me and what they expect from me. So I always try to do my best. I've been featured on Sarkodie's Bibiba. I have top singles out there, and this new one as well.
And I heard it's going viral already.
Yeah, it's going viral, and I thank the fans so much for supporting it. Yeah.
What was the experience like for you when you got featured on Bibiba? How was that? What was that for you?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't expecting it, so I felt very great as a young artist. Yeah, it boosted my confidence and it gave me the numbers as well. And shouts to Sarkodie for that.
Yeah. Who are you looking to do things with in terms of the coming future?
Okay. I have records, projects with some of the A-list artists, which I'm going to drop after this, but because of the corona, I'm on the low for now, and I have projects like Yet and Sen. It's a freestyle program from my team and myself, which we are doing it like a broadcast in the form of a rap. So every Friday I come out to talk about all the trending issues in Ghana in the form of a rap.
Interesting.
Wow, like a
it's called Yet and Sen. We do hear things. I just will come there and do my concert.
When we were young, they had in some world. I don't sound Anyway, tell us about this single, Why Familia?
Okay, Familia, because if you listen to the song, the kind of vibe is perfectly suits Familia, and I wanted to like enter his fan base and get the love from that side too. So I chose him about when I talked of the market side and the business side.
Super.
But what inspired the single, the song itself, beyond the business side? I can clearly see your
this
business
song is personal. This song is personal. And again, it speaks about how people talk about people. Yeah, we are entitled to talk about people, but sometimes we don't go too far with that. You know, no one is perfect in this life. And when people do good, we hardly speak about it. But when they do bad, we always spread it. So just stop talking about people.
Somebody talking too far about you.
It happens. Maybe me too. I talk about people as well. So it goes all around. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you follow your social media? And your guitarist is also.
Yeah. His name is Piano Wizard. He's a sound engineer as well.
Wow.
Yeah, his name is Piano. Yeah. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Amrado_Bena. Facebook is Amrado_Bena, and Instagram is Amrado_Bena. Yeah, and I would urge the fans, especially the Ghanaians, to love streaming more than downloading, because in these hard times we don't play shows.
We need to stream.
Yes,
guys.
They would have to stream for us in bed, so that we can get the energy and the little money.
Are you going to be doing some live performances as well throughout the year?
Oh yeah, let's wait for Corona to maybe come down, maybe get a vaccine first. But their life matters.
Thank you, Amrado.
Thank you very much.
Thank you at home for staying with us. This has been a great show. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Don't forget that Keyboard Idol is coming up real soon. 26th of June is the deadline to submit your 2-minute video, all right, playing your best skills on video. Show us what you've got. All right. Remember that the age limit is you should not be 15. Okay, if you're applying, and make sure that you send your contact number, your parents' names, whoever is your guardian, your parent, and so on. Their phone number. As we need all those details to make sure that you can join the competition.
Definitely, because we don't want some football ages in there.
Know, right?
Of course, if you want more information, call us at 0558-973-973. City Business Festival is still ongoing. If you want to find out ways to reboot your business, take advantage of the online space, figure out the opportunities within the agribusiness sector, and of course, figure out how to export whatever it is that you're doing, then the City Business Festival is for you. Go onto our YouTube page, City TV, CityTube, and you can catch the ones we had for reboots and e-commerce. Next week we have agribusiness. The following week we have trade forum. And if you want to join that, just call us at 0205-973-973. You can get in and ask all the questions that you have.
So we'll leave you with Amarado. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Amata. Amarado, take us away.
What you do for yourself. Now say, oh, how my dream, why you figure say you did it. What how much some can crash, I swear. So we say, Peter, yeah, I swear. Mama tell every day I feel my breath. You better shut up, oh, my friend. Me pay my dear, we see I can climb. And then you pay a man. Me pay my dear, we see I can climb. Nana we tire for the hate to me boy and casa. Street in the so high, you could do the batter. Yanko pon the fire, no would you have to set charger when you send away for said Yakuko is so solid that my God is able to deliver. Means Roshi, Sika can't come a bush when you are. Me family who she said you paint almost semi muadi, sell out fellas, a common to Muswati, Bossy, Castle, Rebecca, Fiji was sweat, and Papa Jet was sweat. No joke for here, was swanting. I hear, she shall cry, I go to true. Some of her open strain, drama. That's a walk or send me up a rama. Or send me she took me, but the new designer. Yes, one man tell my punch a better trouser. Can you let him in the bomb? My mama say, Hunter. Me pay my dear music, I can time. And then you pay a man, I made down. Me pay my dear music, I can time. Wherefore, I just the work hard, me show. Me yank upon the night to me throat. When you bring the media, you so you figure out go fall and you will pour that you joking. Said you woman and you me pay. Me need me power time, then you pay me yammy. Bibia me be anya wo fe. O te se me ho akyere me pe na ko enya wo de enye wiase. Ye wo so wo bebo wo nyanka wakode fiase. Ye ne papa da wo benya nanka wahwe ase. Against be try na so bi nya me ti ase. Okoku me kra no di misusu ma dase. Drama. Pese wo ko se me akopɛ drama. O se me hwito go me body new designer. Yesu, wo man tema poncho be trouser. Kan ye na di me nim no go me mama se hanta. Shabi dabi. Sa umpe masema please let me know. They wa who me no. Nyame pena me na mo, nyame kame ho. E kura fa dwumbo ni otongu. Nan say na ya ha de pa me sha. Asema gum. Just some chama mi jedu. Shabi dabi. Sa umpe masema please let me know. They wa who me no. Nyame pena me na mo, nyame kame ho. E kura fa dwumbo ni otongu. Nan say me ya ha de pa me sha. Asema gum. Just some chama mi jedu.
This is VOA Africa.
Hello, I'm Esther Gitu Yuwat. It's Wednesday, June 10th. This is Africa 54. Due to the global outbreak of COVID-19, Voice of America is taking every necessary precaution to safeguard its employees. So a broadcast